Hi guys, Paul Michaels from Big Game Indicating Dogs and Real Dog Training with another video from the couch. So, always trust your dog. Goes without saying, and this is like a huge key. You basically do all your control work, get all your range set up, stop to the shot, steadiness to the shot, all of that type of thing. Everything we're going over in the Deer Dog Blueprint. And then you go out hunting and you just trust your dog 100% the whole time. And there's lots of sides to this, but it's all wrapped up in just trust the dog. Anytime you're out in the field and your dog's doing something, you're watching it, it's either pointed or it's winding or it's tracking and you're not too sure, just always default back to, if you're trying to make a decision, if one involves making a decision yourself and the other involves trusting your dog, always trust the dog. Just trust the dog. There's lots of different sides to this. So a big side to it when you first start hunting with a young dog is it starts winding. You've got to follow that wind up for as far as you can until you either find a deer or find a possum or whatever it is. Spook a deer, you might find nothing, but what you're doing is you're building confidence in your dog and showing it that you're there to follow it. And if that little sniff that it just done was a deer, it's really important that you point it in that direction and take it that way and follow it. If you spook a deer with a young dog, it's really good just to put the young dog on that track and just follow it. That's teaching your dog to track. It's teaching it that you're after that scent, that you're looking for deer. Just following a young dog while it tracks a deer. I don't care if the wind's blowing from behind you, if the wind's wrong and you're crashing through a heap of terrible bush and it's into a terrible spot and you're pretty sure you're not even going to shoot it, just following a young dog while it's tracking a deer, working on your range, keeping your dog close, not letting it go out. It's awesome practice and it's just teaching it so much. So there's that whole side of it. Just trusting your dog, backing it up and following it is what brings out a huge amount of confidence and drive in a young dog, and you're teaching it how to hunt. And all the while, you're using all your techniques to keep your range close and keep your dog nice and slow and steady. There's other sides to it and huge diversions that can come in along the way. And I can get this idea across really quickly in a short story about a hunt that I did with Fly when she was about 8 months old. I was doing contract goat control work. I'd probably shot maybe 15 or 20 goats over. I think it was our second run on the goat hunting. In the first run I shot about 15 goats and a deer. Shot a deer for camp meat. And that was in the Kaiwais, quite difficult hunting. Managed to dig up a few and it was good. It was her first run in an area that there were goats. I was really happy, and then we went over to an area near like West Coast out behind Tikawiti, quite a few goats out there. And first day's hunting, I went walking out along this ridge and there was a good bit of goat sign around and everything, and I knew it was going to be on. The bush was nice and open. I was really looking forward to doing this job with her. It was going to be a real good training job for her. And walking on this open ridge, basically waiting to see a goat any moment, and Fly just dropped down into this huge sneak. She like crouched right down into the full-on heading dog, strong-eyed sneak, and really intense, and just done this huge slow motion stalk off the side of the ridge. And straight away I was stoked and following her, gun ready to go, positive we're about to come across some goats. And she crept up over the brow of the hill and locked up, and there were two blackbirds there. And the blackbirds took off, and Fly was all startled and watching the blackbirds, and just instinctually, it was just a reaction. As soon as those blackbirds flew away and Fly was all intense watching them, I yelled and I said, "Fly, cut it out." I thought she was hunting the blackbirds. And I was sort of a bit pissed off for a moment, and then what actually happened was I just yelled at her, turned her away, and kept walking along the ridge. And about 100 meters further on, she put her nose down and started tracking, and she tracked just down the side of the ridge, and I followed her tracking back, and she took me right back to about 20 metres behind where those blackbirds were, and we're tracking goats, and right there were some skid marks and running marks from the goats that run away from when I yelled at her. So when she went into that full-on sneak, she was taking me to goats. There just happened to be 2 blackbirds in the way. And I yelled at her for taking me to goats, turned her away, and walked the other way. So a hugely damaging thing to do with a young dog. And I was very lucky that that the goats had just happened to walk across the ridge in front of us where we went anyway. She tracked them, took me around. I found where they'd spooked off from. We tracked them down the hill, and I didn't actually catch up with them. I sort of run out of time. But that can happen quite a bit. A dog can start winding, start taking you to a deer, and along the way there'll be a possum in a log, or there'll be a magpie, or there'll be a dog might be taking you to a deer and you don't want to target goats and there's a goat in the way, or a dog might be taking you to a deer and there's a pig in the way. So what I learned from that, and hugely important, always follow up on any indications as far as you possibly can until you're 100% positive beyond all reasonable doubt that that dog was taking you to a deer or one of your target species as a big game indicating dog, a pig, deer, goat, tahr, chamois, whatever you're hunting. If your dog takes you to enough animals on a wind or tracking, sooner or later there's going to be something else in the way. So it will happen to everyone. And I've spoken to other really experienced hunters about this, and they've told me a story about how their dog that they've shot hundreds or thousands of goats over was sneaking down a hill one day, and all of a sudden it's locked up on a hedgehog. So they screamed at it, kicked it up the arse, and walked in the other direction. Well, I almost guarantee you that there would have been a goat past that hedgehog somewhere. There just happened to be a hedgehog on the way, and the dog seen it, looked at it, and he's screaming at it for looking at a hedgehog that was in between him and a goat. So really important thing to be aware of. So we keep talking about this, but I'm not going to get these videos too long, but I think you get the gist. Always trust your dog 100% of the time, and be prepared to push through those distractions along the way as well. It's another one of our videos from the couch. Thanks for watching. I'm Paul Michaels from Big Game Indicating Dogs. We'll see you next time.